Hey everybody, I hope you don't mind the new format here. I'm doing a screencast instead of I don't know exactly what you call it, the other kind of video. Anyway, so as some of you know, I recently finished this Chaos Giant from Forgeworld, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it, and talk about what I like about it, what I didn't like about it, and some tips if you're thinking about doing one of these. So first, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's actually, obviously, from Forgeworld, and it is a sort of a mixed media kit. That is, it comes in both plastic and resin. Essentially, this lower torso here, the legs, lower torso, butt, feet, base, are all from the plastic kit that Games Workshop sells. The upper portion, that is upper torso with the armor, head, arms, weapons, these dangly bits, are all resin and are cast by Forgeworld. And they include everything that you need. It's not like you need another giant in order to complete the kit. Everything is included. And putting it together is mostly pretty straightforward. The casting is beautiful, and the cleanup is relatively minimal, certainly no more than you would expect from the plastic model. So let me see if I can find a good close-up image here. Actually, this one's probably better. Yeah, so you can see, like, there's a seam line here, and I don't see anything else on here, but I mean that is sort of indicative of the quality that I got on my kit. Very fine lines, easy to clean up, and really good detail. So just in terms of the kit quality, it's great. In terms of complexity, at first glance it's really simple to put together, but there were some gotchas that I really wish I had known about before going in, as one of the reasons I decided to do this format of the review, and that's specifically so I could point some things out. If you'll notice here, the head is nestled very tightly in with this shoulder pad. Well, I had this cheek piece is actually a separate piece from the head helmet combination. And so the shoulder pad is also a separate piece. I put this in, the head and the cheek piece in before I put the shoulder pad. That really doesn't work. In some instances, I like to assemble things into sub-assemblies and then paint and then assemble. In the case of this model, I almost wanted to, at least after the fact, wished I had assembled the whole thing first. But I don't know that it would have fixed this particular problem, because I didn't really know it until after this piece was on. And once that piece is on, it's really difficult to get it off. So my suggestion for you is shoulder pad goes on, then cheek piece goes on. In fact, you may want to just hold the cheek pieces until later, until like after it's painted. Speaking of that, the other thing to consider is, for example, this piece here obviously dangles in front of the legs, and so you're going to want to put that on after you paint. after you paint the legs. Same with the shields here. The problem is, where this piece connects is actually underneath where this armor hangs down, and it really wants to settle into a very specific part of the legs. Let me go back to my model. So here, it should fit perfectly against the seams of the pants, but there's no way to see it if you've assembled the legs to the torso. So that becomes a problem. Same thing here. These pieces here fit up underneath the armor. So again, what I wish I had done, and if you are doing this model, what you should probably do is do not glue the upper torso to the lower torso until after you've done painting and done final assembly, because then you'll be able to very easily seat this piece and these pieces onto the legs, then put the torso over the top of that. Save you a lot of headache. You know, learn from my mistakes, although I don't know that it was mistakes, but there were no instructions telling me how to do this, so I'm in retrospect providing those to you. Otherwise, you know, it was a pretty straightforward build-up. There's certainly different directions you can go with paint and choices that you can make in terms of assembly as well. One of the choices I made was not to use these arrows that you can see here. They provide those for the kit. They're huge. I mean, they're really more like, they would be like ballista bolts or maybe arrows fired by other giants. So it seemed a little silly. Plus, it just adds one more thing that can break as you're moving the thing across the table. So, didn't really want to do that. And in the end, I was really happy with my results. I think the kit is fantastic. It looks really cool, and it's going to be, you know, whoever gets this thing, because this is currently up on eBay, whoever gets this thing is going to have a really eye-catching model in their army. And it's a great kit overall. The only problem that I had in terms of the casting was this piece here. Actually, I can show you on here. This little ring on mine was gone. I don't know if it was a miscast or just broken, but I just replaced it with a piece of wire, and although you can't really see it very well, it is there. It's actually bigger than these, but I think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, great kit. I highly recommend it, and if you have any questions about it, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them. I'll talk to you later.